Hi guys! Good afternoon! Pasensya na kung medyo maingay yung background kasi nasa school ako ngayon. So ayan, pinost ko naman na sa ating teams yung itatackle natin for today. Wala muna tayong bonus points ngayon since naghahabol tayo sa time and lessons. So, wait lang guys naghahang yung laptop ko. Wait lang, saglit lang guys. Ayan, okay na. So, for today, mag-share ako ng screen. And ipapanood sa inyo itong additional info about sa topic natin, which is the individual differences, mental ability, and personality. Syempre, aside from the one I posted, need natin ng additional knowledge about our topic. So, nakikita na ba o hindi pa? Nakikita na po.
Okay na po.
Alright, so let's start. Mag-take down notes kayo kasi after this, tatawag ako ng dalawa to share their takeaways.
Contribute a variety of personality traits, values, emotions, and attitudes to the workplace. When new employees join a company, their traits, whether stable or temporary, have an impact on how they act and perform. Furthermore, organizations hire people with the idea that they possess specific talents, competencies, personalities, and values. As a result, it's critical to comprehend the particular traits that influence employee conduct at work. This topic provides some important learnings on individual differences, mental ability, and personality. Have you tried being scolded by your teacher during elementary days? How about achieving an award? For sure your classmates have experienced the same too. Do you have the same reaction, the same response? Maybe yes, but the degree of the reaction or response is different. This leads to the definition of what individual differences is. Individual differences refer to the variation of reactions of people whenever they are confronted with the same situation. These variations could be traced to our personal characteristics. We all know that we are different from each other in many ways, such as our physical aspects, our likes, dislikes, interests, values, and the list goes on. In other words, the whole personality. These differences are the ways in which people differ from each other. Every member of an organization has its own way of behavior. It is important for managers to understand individual differences because they influence the feelings, thoughts, and behavior of employees. For instance, when a management introduces a new system in inventory control, employee A appreciates it and is very eager to learn the system. Performance of his duties turned out to be more efficient. However, employee B is reluctant to learn the new system because he is used to the traditional one, was distracted, and his performance to his duties is less efficient. Another example is when employees are given bonuses. Yes, they are all happy. Sino bang hindi? But the reaction have distinction from each other. Some of them will jump out of happiness, some of them will just smile, clap, and others. Individual differences have several consequences that need to be addressed, especially in the workplace setting. Managers, most especially middle managers, who are responsible in maintaining good interpersonal relationship among employees, must understand and relate well with people in organization. They must be aware of those consequences arising out of differences between people. Ano-ano nga ba ang mga consequences of individual differences? Let's find out.
After you heard about individual differences from Ms. Grazel Alvarez, now let's talk about the consequences of individual differences. Individual differences become a serious concern when people are situated in the workplace. Those concerned with managing people, or simply those that want to relate well with people, must be aware that there are consequences arising out of differences between people. These pertain to the following. Number 1. People differ in productivity. Yes, people differ in productivity because some people are lazy. Some people likes to work really hard, while some people only goes to work for money. That's why people differ in productivity. For me, the best example of this one are the call center agents. For your information, call center agents also sells products. So I will give another example. There are two call center agents, Maria and Eloisa. Maria works for the call center for around 10 years and Eloisa only works for 2 days. That's why sales of Maria is more higher compared to Elsa because Maria is more experienced than Elsa. Also, age, education, and the like also affects productivity. I watched this on YouTube long time ago. Some buyers prefers buying in older agents compared to the young ones because according to them are more trustworthy compared to the younger ones. The next one is people differ in the quality of their work. So I will give an example. We have two bakery workers, Ben and Mario. Ben works for that bakery for 10 long years, while Mario only works for that bakery for 2 days. That's why the works of the two bakery workers is different because Ben is experienced while Mario is a rookie. Number 3. People react differently to empowerment. Now I will give an example. Ben and Mario got empowerment from their boss and Ben become more motivated because of it, while Mario become pressured. Next one is people react differently to any style of leadership, whether it is autocratic leadership, laissez-faire leadership, and etc. Some people prefer laissez-faire, while some people prefer autocratic. Next one is people differ in terms of need for contact with other people. Some people likes to work alone, while some people likes to work with a team. Some people is productive with a team, while some people is more productive when they are working alone. Number 6. People differ in terms of commitment to the organization. Some employees likes to work because it is their dream job and they like to work the company to achieve its goals, while some people only works because they have no choice and they only work to get more money and to get money, not to help the organization grow. Number 7, people differ in terms of level of self-esteem. Some people are very confident, that's why it affects their work. They are more productive, while some people are not confident with their works and it affects the quality.
Hey girls, sa Palmolive Triple Sachet,
Hindi lang 1
or 2,
But 3 washes! Triple na, more washes pa! Palmolive more great new days together!
So, sa demographic diversity naman tayo. How will it affect the performance of workers through demographic diversity? So, here, meron tayong tatlo, which is gender, generational and age-based in the culture. So, sa gender, we all know males and females are different, but not in all aspects. So, pero in terms of works or jobs, di ba meron talagang company or organization na ang hanap talaga for that specific position is either male or female. Another example rin is yung mga secretary sa company. All or most of secretaries are female, di ba? Although hindi gaano magkakaiba ang babae at lalaki in terms of skills or learning abilities. Next is generational and age-based differences. All I can say here is different generations behave differently. For example, tayo, Gen Z, di ba? So, i-compare natin yung behavior natin sa mga past generation or para mas madali, yung generations ng parents natin and yung generations natin. Last is yung sa culture. Paano nga ba mag-behave ang isang tao based on their culture? So, ganito. For example, province and sa city like sa Manila ganon. Kung yung mga taga roon ay pumunta sa province, kailangan nilang iayon yung kilos or salita nila sa kung anong nakasanayan ng mga taga-probinsya or yung mga tao sa lugar na pinuntahan nila. Ganon din naman yung mga taga-province pag nagpupunta sila sa Maynila.
After we learn about demographic diversity, let's now proceed to the difference between aptitude and ability. Aptitude refers to the innate capability of a person to learn a certain skill. For example, an individual who can do multiple tasks in a workplace at the same time. Next is ability. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses in terms of ability that make him or her relatively superior or inferior to others in performing certain tasks. Let's say that Sarah, since a kid, is good at logic and reasoning. And now, this ability of hers helped her in her job as a financial manager in a bank company. Also, another example is a sales lady who is sociable and talkative that helped her to communicate with her customers effectively. An individual's ability comprises of two factors, physical and mental. The capability of an individual to perform tasks which demands stamina, strength, dexterity, and similar characteristics refers to physical ability. This involves our first, dynamic strength. This is the ability to exert muscular force repeatedly over a period of time. Example of these are those people who are working in a construction site or someone who carry luggages or supplies of products. Second is trunk strength. It is the ability to exert muscular strength using the trunk muscles. Some jobs that require this ability are gym instructors and military trainees. The third one is static strength, or also called isometric strength. Firefighters, nursery workers, and fishing workers are examples of jobs that require this ability. The fourth one is explosive strength. It is the ability to expend maximum force for a minimal time. Example of jobs that require this are police officers, fitness instructors, and surgical assistants. The fifth one is extent flexibility. One of the jobs that have this ability is lifeguards, wherein they need to flex the trunk and back muscles as far as possible. Next is dynamic flexibility. This is the ability to make rapid, repeated flexing movements. Massage therapists and cafeteria attendants are examples of this ability. 7 is body coordination. Some jobs that require this ability are structural iron and steel workers. 8 is balance. It is the ability to maintain stability despite of the forces pulling off equilibrium. Waiters or servers require this ability. And last is stamina. It is the ability to continue maximum effort requiring prolonged force. Tour guides and dance teachers are some of the jobs that require this ability.
Various theories of intelligence. Number 1 is the dimension of intellectual ability. Intellectual ability refers to the skills required to think critically. An example of intellectual ability are memory, comprehension, reasoning, analyzing, and problem solving. There are 4 different dimensions of intellectual ability. These are cognitive intelligence, social intelligence, emotional intelligence, and cultural intelligence. Cognitive intelligence referred to as human mental ability and understanding developed through thinking, experience, and senses. Example of your cognitive intelligence is our IQ. Next is social intelligence. Social intelligence is the ability to understand and manage interpersonal relationship. Example of social intelligence is sales-talking because they are good at communicating with people and good at speaking. Next is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence deals with our EQ. Example of our emotional intelligence is when people express themselves openly and respectfully without fear of offending others. Lastly is cultural intelligence. I will give an example of cultural intelligence. Leia is chosen as representative of their company at the event that will happen in Korea. Leia must learn and have knowledge about Korean culture and language so that she can be sensitive with her action. Second theory is the triarchic theory of intelligence. It was developed by Robert Sternberg. He was an eminent researcher which developed an approach to the study of intelligence. According to Robert Sternberg, there are 3 types of intelligence: the comprehensive intelligence, the experiential intelligence, and the contextual intelligence. Comprehensive intelligence, or also known as analytical intelligence, is mostly used in thinking, academic problem solving, and computation. An example of comprehensive intelligence is Anna can effectively process and organize information. She is an expert in material analysis and used these talents to get a high grade in school and higher marks on a standardized exam. Next is experiential intelligence, or also known as creative intelligence, focused on imaginative and innovative problem solving. I will give an example of experiential intelligence. Anna demonstrates these skills every day. Anna works as a spy. She often needs to quickly come up with new plans to address the situation where she finds herself. And the reason why she do this adeptly is because of her ability to easily reapply ideas he was used before to new situation. Lastly is the contextual intelligence, or also known as practical intelligence, which is also defined as street smart. I will give an example of contextual intelligence. Anna considering buying a second-hand laptop. When Anna asks a salesman, the salesman has clearly tried to deceive Anna, but Anna already prepared a price comparison. And lastly, the third theory, which is the theory of multiple intelligence, was developed by Howard Gardner, another eminent researcher who developed a very useful means of understanding intelligence. Under this theory, he proposed 8 components of intelligence. First is linguistic intelligence. I will give an example of linguistic intelligence. Maya Angelou, William Shakespeare, and Oprah Winfrey are famous people who have high linguistic intelligence. They have deep understanding and appreciation of rules and regulation of language. Second, logical mathematical intelligence. People like Albert Einstein and Bill Gates have an ability to develop equation and proof, make calculation, and solve abstract problem. Third, musical intelligence. Example of musical intelligence, Alan and Mike can easily distinguish the sounds of clarinet from the sounds of flute. Fourth, spatial intelligence. We can use spatial intelligence when we are packing our luggage. We visualize how different items can fit together compactly. Fifth, bodily kinesthetic intelligence. This includes dancer, gymnast, athletes, actor, architect, carpenters, sport coaches, choreographer, and among others. Number 6 is interpersonal intelligence. People like Martin Luther King, Aristotle, Mother Teresa are all historical figures that had high interpersonal intelligence. They were easily able to interact with and understand those around them. Number 7 is intrapersonal intelligence. For example, someone with intrapersonal intelligence such as Albert Einstein and Socrates may also have potential to improve verbal and numerical intelligence. And lastly, naturalist intelligence. Students love subjects like botany, zoology, archaeology, geology, and etc. is example of naturalist intelligence.
Personality is one factor that distinguishes people from one another. The way a person communicates, reacts to change, and interact with people is influenced by their personality. However, disparities in how people receive and process information can lead to miscommunication and conflict. Example of this is when one of the employees' opinion contrasts with the other, and since they both have different personalities and perception, clash may arise. And let us now move forward to the determinants of personality. An individual's personality is influenced by both inherited and environmental factors. When we say inherited, those are factors that are determined before a person is born. This includes physical stature or height, facial attractiveness, gender, temperament or the how of a behavior, muscle composition and reflexes, energy level, and biological rhythms. Next is the environmental factors, which includes cultural, social, and situational. Cultural factors talks about the set of beliefs held by a specific community or group of people. It is an individual's culture that determines how he or she reacts. Example of these are language spoken at home, religious observances, customs, and taboos. Next is the social factor, which refers to the things that can affect an individual's lifestyle. Under social factors are wealth, religion, buying habits, educational level, family size and structure, and population density. Lastly, situational factors. This indicates that a person will act differently in various scenarios. Job demands and resources are examples of situational factors. And when job demands and resources are affected, it can also influence how employees react to overburdened work duties. And as a result, professional efficacy and productivity are frequently harmed.
All of us have different personalities and traits that makes us unique individual. After discussing the meaning of personality and the determinants of personality, let's now discuss the different kinds of personality factor and traits. The first personality factor and traits is emotional stability. One of the work scenarios that we can observe if the person is emotionally stable or not is when hiring and in-interview ang isang tao. If yung taong ini-interview natin is calm, relaxed, doesn't feel nervous, that person is emotionally stable. Ang isang tao naman na emotionally unstable, he or she get easily nervous, nagpapanik habang ini-interview, and worrying into small things and so on. Next is extroversion. These personality factors refers to a person that is sociable, gregarious, or in short, active person. Parang si Laida Magtalas sa movie ng A Very Special Love na nagtatrabaho bilang editorial assistant at Miggy's newly launched men's magazine, which she has the personality, knows how to communicate with other people, meaning she is quite talkative and she is cheerful. On the other hand, kung merong taong sociable, meron ding taong mga tahimik or mas prefer to work by themselves. Ang tawag sa kanila ay introvert. The next one is the openness to experience, with the factor of being open-minded person who is willing to explore and learn new things like Becca, one of the cast in Pitch Perfect who works in a school radio station which she finds interesting and explore music. In the result, it helps her to produce various remix songs. In contrast, we have close-minded people kung saan sila yung mga taong mas gustong gawin yung mga bagay na nakasanayan na. Fourth is agreeableness. Some owners of a business or company tends to agree sa mga suggestions or ideas ng bawat empleyado nila because they trust each others as believing on combining it will work. While it is inevitable to other owners and employees may either disagree on it. Furthermore, we have conscientiousness. Having the higher and lower of it, like the manager working at McDonald's or other food services, they are the one who manage, motivates, and even organize the flow of organization and even their personal activities as they fulfill their roles. While the person with low score on conscientiousness, sila yung mga free-spirit people who just do things spontaneously and doesn't really follow a concrete plan or schedule. Moving on in self-monitoring behavior, in a scenario kung saan your company is having a crucial meeting and there, ikaw mismo, you can control yourself and behave seriously, while your coworkers doesn't take it serious and suddenly make fun that makes it awkward. This shows that this coworker has a low self-monitoring behavior compared in you having higher level controlling behavior. The next factor is risk-taking and thrill-seeking. Chinese people which are thrill-seeking and risk-taker pagdating sa pagtatay ng business, while some others na nag-umpisa pa lang would rather choose not to take risks. Lastly is optimism. Just like entrepreneurs is starting up a business, as they take risks, they also shows the thinking of positive ideas and outcomes that continuously lead to a successful business, while pessimism is the opposite of it, full of negativity.
Babangon tayo, susulong tayo. Bawat araw na ito, may tapang na di susuko. Ano man ang iyong harapin, walang di kakayanin. Babangon tayo, susulong
Alis na ako.
ay di biro. Ang pag-angat, isa puso, dahil bawat bangon natin, nasa satin din ito.
Now, let's talk about emotional intelligence. According to Daniel Goleman, EQ is the ability of the person to accurately perceive, evaluate, express, and regulate emotions and feelings. So, having a high EQ is very important, especially in workplace. Why? Because it aids in the formation of good relationship, reduction of team tension, resolution of conflict, and the enhancement of job satisfaction. There are 5 components of emotional intelligence: the self-regulation, motivation, empathy, self-awareness, and social skills. The first one is self-regulation. Self-regulation is our ability to regulate and manage our own emotions. Example of this is calming ourselves down after something exciting or upsetting happens. Second is motivation. Motivation means being motivated by things beyond external rewards like money and recognition. Example is incentive motivation. Incentive motivation is when we are motivated to perform a task because of the potential reward like cash certificate. The third is empathy. This refers to our ability to understand how others are feeling or putting oneself in someone else's shoes. For example, may ka-workmate ka na napagsabihan ng boss ninyo at aasarin mo sana siya at pagtatawanan. Pero dahil meron kang empathy, mas pinili mong i-motivate na lang siya dahil alam mong napahiya siya sa harap ng maraming tao. The fourth one is self-awareness. This refers in recognizing and understanding our own emotions. One example of self-awareness is learning about our emotional triggers so that we can better deal with negative emotions like anger or hate. And the last one is social skills. It's our ability to interact well with others. Example is communicating clearly, listening actively, and when someone is still talking, let's wait for our turn. Therefore, emotional intelligence can be used in organizations to work together to achieve goals and objectives as well as to foster a happier and healthier work environment.
Ay, ano ba yan? Ang init-init. Hindi ko pa matapos-tapos tong mga activity ko.
Pagod ka na ba? Nawawala ng gana na kung sinusulat mo? Ito ang Sagas Dance! Mountain Dew! Ang energy drink na para sa'yo!
Bye to that.
I'm going to discuss the physical ability. The following factors are important in determining the reasons for differences in individual behavior. Number 1. Sense of sight. People differ in what they actually see. An example of that is people with colorblind. Sa ibang bansa, hindi pwedeng may colorblind ka. Iyan ang una nilang tinatanong kapag mag-a-apply ka ng trabaho. Dahil mahihirapan ka, at the same time, maapektuhan ang trabaho mo sa isang kumpanya. Next is sense of hearing. People differ in their ability to hear. This considered tone deaf. It means they cannot sing in tone or recognize different tones that would not be able to perform as a singers, musicians, conductors, and recording engineers. Next, sense of taste. Example ko dito, ang mga chef, syempre tinitikman nila ang mga niluluto nila para malaman nila kung matabang ba, maalat, at kung kailangan pang dagdagan ang seasoning sa mga pagkain. Next is sense of smell. An example of this job is a perfumer. It is a person who makes or sells perfume. Siyempre, bago nila itinda ang product nila, kailangan muna nilang test kung sobrang bango na, kung long-lasting ang amoy nito. So the last one is sense of touch. An example of this job is massage therapist. They need the sense of touch in order to apply pressure to the muscles and other soft tissues of the human body to help heal injuries, relieve pain, improve circulation, and relieve stress.
Ayan, tapos na. Wait lang, stop screen share ko muna guys ha. Wala munang magtataas ng kamay. Stop screen sharing. Yan. Okay. So, at the count of 3, you can raise your hand. So, ngayon, pakibaba muna lahat yan. 1, 2, 3. Daming tataas ha. So, dalawa lang guys kukunin ko ha. Since, mag-overtime na tayo masyado. So, nauna si Angelica. Next ay si Jeneline. Remember to open your cam to get the 2 points. Kapag hindi, 1 point lang. So, go Angelica.
Good afternoon po, ma'am. So these are my takeaways for today's discussion. For what I have learned for this topic, when we say personality, it is the characteristics of a person or individual of differences in a way of thinking, feelings, attitudes, and opinions that shown to the organization. So I will give example of one of the consequences of individual differences. People differ in productivity. May iba na namomotivate sila sa work dahil sa salary or sa mga bonuses. Pero ang ibang empleyado naman, gusto nilang may reward or position na gusto nilang ma-achieve. So, yun lang po, ma'am. Thank you po.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you, Angelica. Next and last, si Jeneline.
Ma'am, in addition po sa sinabi ni Angelica, the sources of demographic diversity among people are gender, generational differences and age, and culture. At ang ability ng isang person is consist of mental and physical. At ang personality naman po is determined by heredity and environment. Sa EQ naman po, mayroon pong 5 components: the self-regulation, motivation, empathy, self-awareness, and social skills. And lastly, people are different from each other in terms of their 5 senses, which are to see, hear, smell, taste, and touch.
Okay, that's it. Very good. Nasabi naman ng dalawa lahat, and I think that's the end of our discussion. Get ready for your quiz on Friday, 4 p.m. and it's good for 20 minutes only. Di na ako magbibigay ng extension ha, alam nyo na yan. Submit early before the time. So, ayun lang. Mag-review and goodbye guys. Goodbye.
Goodbye po, ma'am. Thank you po.